Sorry,
That's like
800,000 a year. 800,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly $1 million a year, right?
I think it's 500,000.
Of 20 million.
I use a calculator for everything, so.
Oh, it is. You're right. My bad.
800,000.
All right, Ryan's the strongest at mental math out of all of us.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Simple Money Guys podcast, where we make money simple for you. I'm Greg, and as always, I'll be joined by John and Ryan. Join us today as we discuss some of the most essential money tips that'll help you take full control of your financial future. If you haven't yet, please give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at The Simple Money Guys, and please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts. It helps us a tremendous amount.
All right, guys, back for another episode. I think this time, coming off of last week's episode, we want to keep it a little lighter. Let's just discuss some of the world's billionaires, how they got there, the amount of effort they put in, what is some sort of commonality between all of them. So out of all the billionaires in the world, guys, who is the first one you guys want to discuss? I'll throw this to John, since this was your idea for this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's so interesting about billionaires, obviously there's some nuance to it, but with any billionaire, with any successful entrepreneur, there's skill, there's hard work, and there's luck. Like, we have to acknowledge that there is luck and maybe even like privilege that's involved with a billionaire. Yeah. So it's not all like, hard work. There is some luck to it, but I just say we get the most well-known, one of the most well-known ones. So the first billionaire I want to talk about, you may have heard of him. His name is Elon Musk. He's a serial entrepreneur. But yeah, I want to talk about him because I was listening to a podcast and it was really inspiring and motivational, because he basically started a company when he was really young called Zip2, and it was basically an online web software. He started Zip2 when he was like 20 years old. Eventually, Zip2 got bought out by some newspapers or some like online community. It got bought out, and Elon Musk got $20 million at the ripe age of like 22 or something like that. So, Greg, if you were in your mid-20s and you got $20 million, what would you do with that money?
I mean, I think I would, utilize the 4% rule and kind of just coast, you know what I mean? Maybe focus a little bit more on, nonprofits and charitable things, but, only do the things that you can kind of do when you're set. But I would definitely, kind of just chill and, I might work a little, but I think I would be good at that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel the same way. Like, I would definitely coast. Maybe I would do some other business ventures, but you'd be pretty set for life with $20 million. But what Elon did is he actually took that $20 million and invested nearly all of it into another company. And this company was called.
Before you get into that, I just want to say the 4% rule would mean he could withdraw 4% of that money, which is
500,000.
500,000 a year, easy.
You could live off of $500,000 per year.
Sorry, 800,000 a year. 800,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly $1 million a year, right?
I think it's 500,000
of 20 million.
I use a calculator for everything, so.
Oh, it is. You're right. My bad.
800,000.
Yeah. All right, Ryan's the strongest at mental math out of all of us.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so $800,000 a year he could have just taken and lived his life and enjoyed life. A very good life at that.
Yeah, imagine saying, hey, you don't have to do anything, but we'll pay you $800,000 as a salary per year.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he put that money, he invested almost all of that money, the $20 million, back into another company called X.com. It was like a payment processing platform on the web, on the internet. So he used this $20 million that he got, he put it into this company called X.com, and eventually X.com merged with another company, and it turned into PayPal as we know of it today. So Elon Musk was one of the original founders of PayPal, essentially, and for that, he got $200 million worth of stocks and shares and all that. So, Greg, now instead of $20 million, you have $200 million. You're in your late 20s. you could coast off of, what is that? Is that
8 million a year?
8 million. I'm not
Oh
the
my
greatest, but I know how to move one.
So
8 million
Elon
a
Musk
year.
was looking at a salary essentially of $8 million per year, and he wouldn't have to do anything. He could sip margaritas on the beach and just live off of $8 million a year. But he didn't do that. You know, most people would cash out and be perfectly fine. But he didn't do that. He invested nearly all of that money, all the $200 million, into the well-known company that we know of it today. Greg, it's something like Nikola,
right? I think that's the name of the company, right?
Is it
Something
Nikola?
like that's the name of the guy, right?
The guy's last name. Nikola.
Oh, Tesla.
right?
There
Oh,
you go.
Tesla. Yeah.
Nikola
Yeah,
Tesla was
so-
a real guy.
That was a joke, everyone. Just please understand.
So he invested $200 million into what we know of Tesla today, and that has become massively successful. He's taken all that money and invested it into SpaceX now and Neuralink and all these other things. So now, yeah, he's worth over $100 billion. I don't know the exact number, but you just have to realize the amount of risk and the amount he put on the table, and he never stopped working to get what $100 billion is today. And so that doesn't come lightly. He's been working for 40 years or maybe like 30 years, but he has taken massive amounts of risk, and for him it's paid off. But I don't know many people that would take $200 million and bet it all, right? So
Yeah, I think risk. One common thing we're going to see between all these different billionaires is a great amount of risk taken. Not only putting money somewhere, but all their time. A lot of these people become billionaires because their net worth is pretty much tied to the company. So you have to put all your time. You have to give it everything to kind of grow it, like almost like a child. Like, a lot of people seem to dislike billionaires, and I get it. They have a lot of money, but the amount of effort and they dedicate their whole lives to these companies, and they see them grow like their own child. So a lot of net worth tied to companies. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of risk and a lot of huge amount of dedication that's taken to become a billionaire.
So Elon's in his 50s and he's working 80 hours a week, nonstop. I don't know. I don't think I'd want that. Like I don't think that's worth it. Like, all your time goes, and I understand he has a mission. So that may be part of it, but I think when I'm that age, I want to be working. I want to be working still and doing something meaningful, but not with all my time and then some.
Yeah, but Ryan, are you worth $100 billion?
Good point.
yeah, Ryan would have cashed out at $200 million probably.
I would, yeah. But the thing is, if I made $20 million, I probably wouldn't throw all of it into another company.
Yeah.
I'd
I agree.
keep the majority of it and invest, maybe 10, 20, 30% of it. So it's crazy to think that he just invested all of that money, just continually took so many risks.
Like, he
'Cause
could
I
have
don't
had-
think I would have. Like, 200 mil? If I had 200 mil, you better believe I'm not investing all of it,
You're never seeing me again with $200 million.
I'd probably just try to get on Shark Tank. That would be my life goal after that, try to get on Shark Tank.
Yeah, it's pretty spectacular, the amount of risk that some of these billionaires would take. And we will touch on Mark Cuban later in the episode, talking about Shark Tank. But
Yeah.
I wanted to move on
I love
to...
Mark Cuban.
Let's each pick a
another-
billionaire. Let's each pick a billionaire.
Yeah, sure.
I'm good with that.
How about you guys pick the next billionaire?
I want to pick the villain. I'm going to pick the Lex Luthor of our generation. Do you guys know who I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I
I
would
don't know
guess-
why. Like, yeah.
I just see
Yeah,
it. I
Bezos.
do see. I'm not even. A,
He
Yes,
does
Bezos,
look like
yeah.
Lex Luthor.
is Lex?
And he has an evil laugh.
Yeah, it's his
But that's
laugh.
about-
So I am picking the Lex Luthor of our generation, big old daddy Jeff Bezos, richest man in the world. So winning, founder of Amazon, started during the .com bubble, created Amazon, originally just delivered books from his garage, and somehow turns it into the biggest distribution network you have ever seen in your life, where you can order anything online and have it delivered to you within 2 days. And there's always talk about drones coming in and same-day delivery. We'll see with that. But the craziest, most well-structured system in the world for delivery. So Amazon, you know, I mean, personally, if we're going to talk about Amazon, I feel like it has declined in quality a little bit in recent times. And, you know, we've talked about a little bit how Amazon will push its products to the front. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about Jeff Bezos.
So I think the reason so many people aren't a fan of Jeff Bezos is, from what I've heard at least, is, you know, bad working conditions. People are overworked. They're not treated well. Apparently he doesn't treat his people well either, from what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, he had an interview where he went, like, after he went to space, it was kind of like a snarky remark where he was like, thank you, you guys paid for it. Like, when he went to space, he's like, thank you, Amazon customers, because you paid for this.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think he's been shown in a negative light lately, especially with his evil laugh.
He has a completely evil, psychotic laugh. We could all agree on that, right?
Yeah. But, actually, similar note, like, Steve Jobs was pretty terrible to his employees, too.
Mm-hmm.
People hated working with him. Bill Gates was also regarded as, you know, pretty terrible boss.
Well, here's a big
leader.
difference between, you know, someone like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates. And I'm actually going to bring up Zuck. As much as people hate him, a philanthropy score. So one of the other big reasons why I think Bezos gets a lot of hate is he has I forgot what, I think it was Forbes. We did a ranking of the highest net worth people and gave them a philanthropy score. Bezos came in, I think, at like a 1. And then you have Bill Gates, who came in at like a 5 out of 5, because Bill Gates has done a lot of philanthropy over his time. And, you know, as much of hate Zuck gets, and as much of a just human robot he is, he does do philanthropy. So I think he scored somewhere in the middle, like a 3 or 4. But
one could argue that he's destroying the world too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It could be just a smoke screen to prevent it. But I think the bad thing about Bezos is, you know, he doesn't seem like the best person, and he doesn't give back. So I guess that's where it comes from. And his evil laugh.
Yeah.
I wanted to say about Bezos. So there's that CNBC story where he was like talking with someone, and this was in like 2003 or something. Amazon was worth like $10 billion. Or no, he was worth $10 billion. Amazon was worth much more. Jeff Bezos was worth $10 billion, and he was still driving like a used Honda Accord. Like
a great car.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And so this billionaire is driving this Honda Accord. If you guys were worth $10 billion, don't you think you would buy a nice car? Don't you think you would? I mean,
Are you driving a
Koenigsegg?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a McLaren is like
something. Yeah.
0.0001% of your net worth. Like, you could definitely afford it.
I think
but
that's
he
just
was
stupid.
so
I think it's just stupid. Like, seeing like
of him
billionaires-
driving a.
Yeah, like Warren Buffett still driving like an old Cadillac, like living in a small house. Like, come on, dude. Like there's
you kind
really
of earned
no
it.
reason.
You earned it.
There's no reason. There's no reason why you should be doing that. Like, frugality means nothing when you're worth that much money.
Yeah,
literally means nothing
for the average person. Like, you know, keep your spend. We always talk about the differential between how much you're earning, and how much you're spending. But
if you're worth $100 billion, like being frugal does nothing. Like, it literally. It doesn't move the needle at all.
Yeah, and this is, you know, this is the powers of 10.
Thing,
you know what I mean? Like, we're not saying this is someone worth $20 million, going back to the $20 million, buying an $8 million car, because that's significant. That's, you know, you'll notice that. But when you're worth $100 billion, you know, for example, actually, I want to do the math real quick. So if there's a person
he was worth $10 billion at the time. Yeah.
If there's a person, let me crunch the number. Person worth 10 billion. I can't even put it into my calculator. That's how large of a number.
It's too big.
So let's just say you get a $500,000 car.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage of your net worth is that? That is
do 10 billion.
0.005%.
Right. So that's A person who is worth $1,000, that's like what, 50 cents to them? Not even? Is that 5 cents?
Wait, 0.005%?
0.005%.
So that's like 0.00005.
Yeah.
That's 5 cents. That's 5 cents to someone who's worth $1,000.
So if you're worth $100,000, that's like you spending $5.
So it's 1/20,000th of his net worth at that time. So take your net worth, divide it by 20,000. So let's just say you're like that's how much it would have cost to him. So if you're think about it. If your net worth is 100,000, you divide it by 20,000. That's $5.
Mm-hmm. And to take
that's
that
like
even,
he's spending $5.
To take that even further, he was driving a car that was probably worth what, maybe 10,000, not even.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't even buy the $500,000 car. He was too frugal to buy that.
That's the equivalent of someone who's worth $1,000 not even spending money.
Yeah,
it doesn't even compute to that scale.
Yeah, think about it. Even a $100,000 car would be $1 to him.
Yeah,
$1.
Yeah,
that's stupid. Like, stop. Like, don't tell me you're being frugal because like it means nothing.
But it's the principle of the thing. That's how they got there of being frugal. That's
get
how
it.
they got there.
Yeah, I get
But now he has like a $50 million yacht. Like, he's spending his money now. So
He is
wait,
now,
did you guys know?
But Buffett pisses me off.
Jeff Bezos has a yacht. Guess how much Jeff Bezos' yacht is worth? It's actually ridiculous.
It's like $500 million.
$500 million.
$500 million. That's crazy. But I mean, when you're worth
that much
money,
$100 billion, exactly.
Still not that much.
That's just
it's crazy. It's just a different scale. It's a different world. It's a different life. Yeah. Like, you can't even fathom it.
That's actually only 0.5% of his net worth. His yacht, 0.5%.
Yeah. So it's like
it's business expense anyway.
So going back to Jeff Bezos, though, as much as you can hate him, as evil as his laugh is, and as much of a Lex Luthor he is, you gotta respect the man for starting a company out of his garage, selling and delivering books, to becoming the richest man in the world. If that's not the American dream, I don't know what is.
He's provided a service that a lot of people use. It's a really good service, and it is so much better than everything out there. And that's why he has made so much money, is because he created something that was different and provided a ton of value for society. But I can't hate on him because I use Amazon every single day. If I need something, I'm not going to the store. I'm ordering it off Amazon. That's the first place I look.
Yeah.
And if it's in the rare case that I need it, like that day, I'll go to the store.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I use Amazon because it's so easy.
Yeah, and one more thing I wanted to put, and we can go to another billionaire, but like I don't think Jeff Bezos works harder than, like, there are people out there who work like 80 hours a week, and that are 50 years old, and they're making not like, they're making decent money, but not like billions and billions, and so it's like, there comes to a point where you have to like work smarter and use leverage. It's not about just working 80 hours a week, because I know there are people working harder than Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, but they're just working so much smarter than the average person.
Yeah, and again, for these guys, they put all their eggs generally in one basket. Their net worth is tied to the company. So if the company increases in market cap, if the company increases in value, they're going to become worth more. So, it's a high level of risk there.
I think why Elon doesn't get the hate that Jeff does is because he genuinely, he has a mission that he is
trying to help the world.
Crap, did I just cut out? Yeah, he wants to make the world a more sustainable place. He cares about the environment. He's working to help, with Neuralink, paraplegic people. He's trying to get us to space because he thinks that's will help human civilization long term.
Yeah, generations.
And he wants to retire with no money. And I think that's, I think he's a free thinker. He's one of the smartest people in the world.
Yeah.
And he's changed the world himself. Like with like the transition to like electric cars were going to come at some point, but they're decades ahead of our time, like way ahead.
Yeah,
like,
Ryan's pushing a Tesla right now.
Yeah.
I don't think we told the audience that you got one.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Ryan, you got a Tesla?
I did. I got a Tesla. Oh yeah, you're not on social right now.
Dude, congratulations.
Yeah, I
I've
did.
been off social. I've been completely...
I remember I was debating it, and I ended up just pulling the
Dude,
trigger.
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. We could dive
That's
into
awesome.
that more in a
Well, yeah,
different
we'll talk
episode,
about... Because I actually... I sold my car, so we could totally talk about cars again in another episode. We went the
Yeah.
opposite directions, as per usual, right?
You're in New York City, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to Elon Musk, too, I feel like a large portion of it is he's really just like, out of all the billionaires, he just seems like a down-to-earth regular guy, whereas, Jeff Bezos kind of seems evil villainish. You have Steve Jobs, when he was around, he seemed very intense. Zuck is obviously a robot. Bill Gates seems like a normal guy, actually. He just seems like a dad. Bill Gates seems like a dad.
He apparently was really harsh in the early Microsoft days.
Yeah, but also, like, Elon Musk has gotten a lot about terrible work conditions for his employees and everything.
Yeah. It seems like all big companies probably have that.
Yeah, I think
corporate companies.
Right.
I think for sure there is definitely a lot of pressure and hard work on employees from any of the top, 10 companies in the world.
By the way, Elon Musk just donated like $6 billion of Tesla stock to an organization, I think, to help fight world hunger.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was something recent he did that was nice. Mark Cuban. Let's do Mark Cuban.
Oh yeah, let's do Cuban.
He's not quite up there.
Yeah.
Right.
But Mark Cuban, I mean, he came from very humble beginnings. He like, I think Bezos and Musk had investments from their family. I think Mark Cuban invested his student loans. He had no money. He started from absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Built his way up. Now he's a billionaire. Genuinely good guy. I think cares about people. He's a guy from Shark Tank.
Yeah.
But
Texas
I think
guy.
the most recent thing that I really like about Mark is he's starting this, I think, pharmaceutical company to give generic drugs that are so much cheaper than all these big pharma companies. So, like, you can go buy, like, I think the mission there is to, like, just make it much more affordable. Like, some medicines cost $10,000, and people need it to live. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, people have to choose between living and paying bills, or they're in enormous medical debt when it costs them 2 cents to make. So he's taking on big pharma, unlike the government or anyone else really, which I thought was incredible. So we need to protect him before, pharma companies do something bad. Seriously, protect this man at all costs.
I think there's a lot of billionaires we could speak on. We could have another episode of billionaires because we still got to hit like Buffett. I want to dive into Gates like sometime, but we're already getting to towards the end. But I just want to leave you guys with this. Guess, without looking it up, guess how many billionaires are in the United States?
Ooh. How many billionaires are there in the world?
Man,
That's
40.
Probably a lot.
I'm guessing 40.
No, I think it's more than that. I've seen lists like, because there's a lot that
Just in
only
the United
worth-
States. Ryan, you're cheating right now.
I know.
I already
Yeah.
guessed.
I'm gonna say more than 40. I'm gonna say. I don't want to say much more. I'm gonna say like 55.
Yeah, you guys are way off.
I'm way off. Holy
Is it
crap.
like in the hundreds?
614 as of
That's
2020.
crazy.
That's insane.
I didn't even
Wow.
know there were that many billionaires. What
Which,
percentage?
okay,
I'm
which
sure
state
there's
has the
undercover
most billionaires?
too? I'll say New York.
That's number 2.
California? Then?
California is 1. Yep. Texas is 3. And then Florida's 4.
Oh man, where's Ohio, John?
Hey, take
Wait,
a
let's
chance.
see. Ohio's 20.
Middle
of
as
the
usual.
pack. Although I don't know with
Midwest.
There's a lot of states that don't have billionaires. West Virginia, Alaska, Vermont, North Dakota, New Mexico,
I would have
Alabama,
thought
Delaware.
Alaska with oil there would have been.
Well, no one
Someone just needs to move to like West Virginia.
No one wants to
and be
live
like,
there.
the only
Except Daniel
billionaire.
Isles.
But yeah, I think we're running over 30 minutes at this point. We're running close to it. So any last points you guys want to make about billionaires before we wrap this up, guys?
Not
I think
here.
that's it. They obviously take massive amounts of risk with a lot of luck. I know Bill Gates was actually like he happened to be going to the one school that like had a computer when he was like growing up. It was like one of the only schools in the United States, and so that's how he became like so interested and successful with computers. So there is a lot of luck, but again, there's hard work and skill combined with it. Elon Musk is putting in 80-hour weeks at in his 50s. So
Yeah, for sure.
a lot of risk,
He doesn't
hard
need
work,
to be
skill,
either.
and luck. So yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a combination of everything. So
Yeah. But I think that about wraps us up for this week. As always, we are the Simple Money Guys, making money simple for you. I'm Greg, also known as the Daily Investor.
my name is John at Johnny Finance.
And I'm Ryan, the Money CEO on social. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next episode.